update. Now, breaking update in say Ofori Atta from the Ghana US Embassy, Dr. Victor Smith, I confirm say Ofori Atta say letter no ewo public domain. So person who say letter no ko Ghana US Embassy or more official page of Facebook. Obo say letter and the whole Dr. Victor Smith any release here. Abusuan kumani nyina say Enra Attorney General Dominica Kutinga in a granting interview. We know the nkomo bebre and common first and foremost with the ora hon komo with the Ofori Atta detention hon so komo na nyina say or say first and foremost it is Attorney General because say top lawyers and Ofori Atta ahan no. Yes, now top lawyers na wa han no no ebi ne Eniyat just recently granted interview with BBC. Sir Eniyat yengoti and some kind of BBC interview no.
The center of an international legal battle. Authorities in Ghana have formally requested his extradition from the United States to face 78 corruption-related charges. The charges are largely linked to contracts awarded to Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, or SML. The decision now rests with U.S. judicial authorities to determine whether there is a sufficient basis for extradition.
Three things that
Ofori Atta has not spoken publicly, but his legal team insists he's not evading justice and says the case is politically motivated.
He's committed to fully complying with the laws of Ghana, and he's fully committed to answering for anything that he did when he was finance minister. There's absolutely no question about that. The question is he being given the rights that he's guaranteed under Ghanaian law? He is not. He has never been.
How so?
Mr. Ofori Atta was receiving a treatment. Mr. Ofori Atta was in the US. They knew all along. There was no purpose for issuing the red notice, but they went ahead and issued it.
Prosecutors reject claims of political persecution, saying the charges are based on evidence and that the former minister failed to cooperate with investigations. The alleged payments of more than $1 million were made to SML without proof of performance under contracts they say were illegally awarded. But Ofori Atta's lawyers say efforts to engage authorities were ignored. Now, we reached out to Ghana's Office of Special Prosecutor, but they declined to comment. Ghana's former finance...
Ebusuan way Eniyat no, the only BBC for grant interveners. Na ebusuan enkomo ne say, o say US former Attorney General, a friend ebusuan meba, a friend John Ashcroft, or a former US Attorney General. Now, papa ya 2001 to 2005, President George Bush, Sabra no so, enana ure na oye Attorney General, United States of America, John Ashcroft, from the year 2001 to 2005, or no Attorney General, Edema George W. Bush, Abruchimem Honum, United States. Na ni nyina nse sankofo na Ofori Atta top lawyers na ba ko ne Eniyat ayekwohwe ne video no na o se former Attorney General friend Ashcroft a friend say Ofori Atta beba, but ono dey was said say oba omuma ne first trial they should no more treat him on the abrofon. One thing that they handle every client and every citizen with what they give the person his full right to battle with his legal issues. Until Ofori Attorney General confirm say Ofori no say Ofori Atta ebeba na oba or assure say omo be man fair trial and fair trial. No cause this government is not government to be a mahama bind here obeden obe more treaty no crep Ofori Atta former Attorney General US Attorney General a confirm say obeba ne lawyer a former Attorney General John Ashcroft a confirm until nkoti Attorney General. The
visa was revoked. I am telling you this on authority. All right. The last meeting that I had with the American authorities was just 3 days ago.
His lawyers say here in Ghana say this is just a standard process.
No, it's not. It's not a. I mean, they want to give it that a twist. To make it look like there is nothing wrong. But of course, the extradition request that I sent was in respect of the OSP.
Yes, the SML matter.
Yes, but I have been working with the Americans diligently on him, and the visa was revoked, and that is how come that he lost his immigration status in the United States.
Explain to me, visa is revoked on account of you investigating him?
Something I wouldn't want to give any details, because we speak with in confidence with the Americans, but this is something that I can publicly confirm, that a visa was revoked.
So, in respect of his extradition, are your lawyers in America to assist the state as the Department of Justice? As we understand, there's supposed to be some 2 lawyers from your place, 2 lawyers from the OSP or so, to go and help the Americans who prosecute the case in American courts.
Normally, we don't send our lawyers. We are represented because we make the request to the American authorities. So just like here, when they make a request, my office, mostly led by, my deputy, Justice Rimsai, goes to court. My lawyers go to court, and they represent the interests of the United States of America.
That's right.
And they do all the arguments, and then when, they persuade the judge grants the extradition request, and then, we extradite the person. It is going to be the same. So you see, when I said that Mr. Ken Ofori Atta had hired top lawyers in America to argue his case for him, and that is not going to be an easy battle trying to bring him home. People thought that I was going to the United States to face his lawyers there, and I was afraid. I'm not afraid. Paul Adomochiri did a show here where he said a Stanford lawyer, and you are afraid of lawyers in America. I'm not afraid of them.
He's not the only one who was unhappy.
No, but nobody ought to be unhappy, because John Ashcroft, the former attorney, general of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing, Ken Ofori Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he'll get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law. His fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time, I could not, including the lawyer, the lawyer who granted the interview.
That's right.
So there were 3 of them, 3 lawyers who spoke to me via, a Zoom on that day when they were expressing concerns. Okay. So at that point in time, it was confidential. I could not mention John Ashcroft as his lawyer. All right. But I was simply saying that when you take the fact that he has these top lawyers coming to court in America, a day's work to bring him home.
That's
because, he will appear before, in this current matter, he will appear before an immigration judge.
Thank you for having me, Samson.
In America, we thought you were teaching and studying. We didn't know that you were still doing I Catch You. Where did you catch Ken Ofori Atta? What is he doing? Where you found him?
Well, I caught him. I only have details of what he does, and that's what I've been sharing. And exact location where he was arrested, according to sources who witnessed the arrest, is in Washington, D.C., 124th Street in Washington, D.C. And there is an apartment, a luxury apartment complex building called the West Light Building. This building is in a very expensive neighborhood of Washington, D.C., and it is a 20-minute walk from the White House. This is where sources say Ken Ofori Atta and some members of his family, I have heard specifically his wife and son, have been living in this building. This is the building where Kamala Harris was living prior to her election and swearing in as the Vice President of the United States. And Kamala Harris had a 2-bedroom condo in this West Light building. And
Na abusua nkɔmɔ wei firi hɔ a na ɔdi nkɔmɔ fa ora yɛka sɛ ora operation recover all loot yɛ wei ne adeɛ a ɔmanpanyin Mahama ba excellence baya na ɔka sɛ ɛyɛ ɔmo state ɛyɛ property statement no ɔbɛ make sure say he will recover them by this procedure, and I said this method called operation recover all loot. Now Attorney General di nkɔmɔ my update on operation recover all loot, and also open say we see the echo because I never say Ora is dead, I was Ora is functioning. You go see in some or the two.
One of the demands that they made in the Dubois case was that we should disclose the interrogation, videos. All right. Now, that is not something that we were putting forward in our case. We have our docket built. We have all the statements of the accused persons, of witnesses, and so on and so forth. That was our case that we took to court. Then you say, okay, make available to us the the interrogation videos. Okay, so we have to go back into our system and then upload. So, for instance, with some of them, they may be erased because we don't have enough space to be able to preserve them, and so on and so forth. So we have to go back into our system and then make those videos available to them. Okay, so those are the circumstances that they are talking about. They're not saying
someone like that, he's watching the space.
Yes.
And that's 49.1 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
At least the cases you have put out so far, that's the highest amount you are chasing. The NSS.
No, the buffer stock is 78 point something.
So just quickly about that one, then we'll move on.
Yeah.
When you say the media, and this is not the first time you are saying that, at your last press conference, you spoke about bloggers being paid to misreport and mislead.
Yes.
They are reporting from the courtroom. For example, this morning, I had to ask you that we have seen that there's a letter that was written by the National Security...
the former National Security Coordinator. Yeah, allegedly written by the former
confirming that he had authorized the opening of the accounts that you are indicting Edubuaheng on.
Yes.
Then I referred to the Israeli company.
Yes.
You, in your charges, you say that he didn't deliver the cyber defense device
equipment.
But they write to say he has delivered it. If this is what the bloggers are reporting, and then your witness in court also confirming some of the things and they are reporting, what is it about somebody being paid or somebody doing misreporting?
Well, okay. So if there is a factual development in court, like the ISC letter, right, and you are reporting it, you have to be accurate with respect to its content. Okay, what did the letter say exactly about the equipment that was bought, right? Did they say that the equipment that was bought, the money came from the BNC, the private BNC account? Is that what they said?
What they are interested in is that they purchase the equipment and it's been paid for.
And the able deputy made that case very clear in court that there were two pieces of equipment, all right? One of our witnesses, the director of finance of the National Signals Bureau, made that abundantly clear in court that there were two pieces of equipment that are involved in this trial. One, the authentic, pitches. One, equipment delivered pursuant to the authentic pitches. And then the second equipment that we are talking about is the one that he, mimicked the other transaction in order to steal the money. All right.
You have said that already. It's the first time you are telling me, and I'm hearing also, that the letter that was written by the former security coordinator, you suspect is fake, is forged.
Yes.
So you can't blame the reporter. They see the document and they say the name of the game is evidence.
Yeah. Okay, so so a letter was written, right? What are its legal implications? Okay, and I'm saying that, first of all, we suspect that letter was forged, okay, or it's a forgery. It's a fake document. Secondly, we are also saying that even if it was an authentic letter, all right, the dead man was a co-conspirator in a criminal enterprise. And if he were alive today, I would have arrested him, added him to Ediboy to prosecute him because they are not supposed to do what they did. That
Okay.
is against the financial management laws of the country. It is against even their own signal bureau, laws. You see, I was talking with one person who told me, he has a former security couple, told me that, you see, national security, you don't investigate them because even if they take the money and throw it into the Kole Lagoon, you can't do anything about it. I looked at him in the face and I said, you know what? If any national security person takes our public money and throws it into the Kole Lagoon, I am going to arrest them and I'm going to prosecute them for causing damage to public property.
The question has been asked you. The question has been asked you, who is the complainant in this matter? Has the national security complained to you that they have lost the money?
No, I don't need a complainant to be able to bring criminal, prosecutions.
Okay. Now,
I don't.
You are heavily criticized.
Yes.
What has become your frank, press conferences have also become a hallmark of your tenure.
Yes.
But your critics argue that you sometimes pronounce the suspects guilty. This clearly undermines the constitutional presumption of innocence and the human rights of the accused persons.
Okay. So what is wrong with a prosecutor telling the public what he has found? There is absolutely nothing wrong. And in none of those press conferences have I said that the person is guilty of the offense. I just lay out all the facts and some of the evidence to give Ghanaians a taste of what, I have been able to unearth.
You don't have to use the word guilty. When you talk about the buffer stock and others and you say, I cannot see how they can escape this. This is a betrayal of the public trust and all of that.
Yes.
That's tantamount to pronouncing them guilty.
Well, but
something that the court should do.
But you see, if a prosecutor doesn't believe strongly in his case, he shouldn't take it to court. And what I do is simply to, express strong belief in the case that I'm sending to court. All right. The people who criticize me, I don't know whether they watch TV. If they do, prosecutors in America, they lay out the charges, they lay out the facts, they sometimes even touch on the evidence and so on. And America is a democracy of over centuries, over 200 years. We are a democracy, the Fourth Republic, has lasted for just, 30-something years now, all right? So I don't know why in a democratic system of government, a prosecutor cannot tell the people what he has been able to find, especially when the crime is against the Republic. Okay, so what I'm doing, a defamation suit can succeed when on the face of it, there's credible evidence of wrongdoing. You and I, as lawyers, are arguing about what he did because, objectively, you agree that there's an act, that ought not to have been, done. The question whether he is guilty of criminality is one that we leave to the court.
Okay.
All right. But the fact that we are arguing about it means that there is